Welcome back to another Commercial Trucking Chronicles. I'm your boy Swizzy, back with another video. I wanted to come up here because I wanted to I want to apologize to some people that might have got offended or took some offense, and rightfully so, all right? Because after further review or after information, updated information about, Alex Petty that was recently unalived by the ICE agents, I was, of course, everybody that saw it can't unsee it. It it didn't look like it was justified. And unapologetically, but then again, I do need to apologize for anyone that might have got offended by anything that I said, but really unapologetically. He lost his life because of his stance, where he stood in regard to being a peaceful protester. There's other footage of him not being so peaceful. I don't know if that's AI. There's different angles, but I made a video before saying that what I saw, I can't unsee it. What we saw is not something that you can unsee. So, you know, it just the other when other footage come out, it really exposes the person for who they truly were, what their intentions, genuinely were, not just leading up to, but at the time of the incident that cost him his life. That cost him his life. And then there's the testimony from the or the statements from the family saying that they begged him and pleaded with him, don't go out there. I'm pretty sure they knew more about where he stood, and they must have felt like you have a wrong, your stance is going to get you killed. His parents had to know that, because that's like if I'm sitting here arguing with my son about people will talk about how they feel about things that are going on, and there's those discussions around the dinner table, right? And I'm gonna he probably mentioned he wanted to go down there and he felt that something had to be done. Hey, how you guys doing? Hello, how you doing? Appreciate you guys. Hit that like button, Dave. Thomas, that's my boy Tom. And Slimy, and you guys, y'all do me a favor, hit the like button on your way in, man. I just wanted to, kind of just give another second take on things, because with the new updated footage of this guy Alex, who the whole nation is kind of grieving behind it. Of course, even his family, everybody, they're grieving behind it. Hey, Slim, I appreciate you for hitting that like button, man. Go on, y'all, hit that like button, man. Slim doing his thing. And it don't cost you nothing. It's free. You got the power. Power's in your hand. Power to the people. You feel me? Power to the people. Go on and hit that like button. You have the power to do so. Don't let nobody stop you. I'm gonna finish like this comment. I'm gonna play something real quick. So, Alex, in the beginning, Alex Petty was looking like he was a hero in the situation. And not taking anything from him, because not like the protesters are not having, that they, I appreciate you guys. I appreciate you, man. Slim. Um, you got a voice. We have a voice. Go on out and protest, but do it peacefully. It looks to me, after further review, after other footage, and I don't know if that's AI or whatever. That's why I said apologetically. If I hurt anybody feeling, you know what I'm saying? Like I don't mean to be somebody that's gonna, you know, appreciate it. Say Connecticut. That's where I was born and raised. And there's sanctuary cities in Connecticut, and I'm always on the phone with people like, yo, what's going on out there? You know? But it's a vintage hat. But like they're saying, like, they have video footage like 11 days before he was unalive that he got into a violent confrontation, a clash with law enforcement, and he was armed then. He was armed then, you know. So, his. Oh, thank you, thank you. I bought this hat at the flea market. Didn't cost much, but I liked it too. It was really nice. I mean, pretty vintage, but it says Connecticut. It represents my home state, so I had to have it when I saw it. So I appreciate you guys for hitting that like button for me, man. I like the color too. Yeah, I have good taste. They had a couple of different ones. I chose this one. Elizabeth, what did I say? Elizabeth Rutherford asked what time do I go to bed? I fall asleep when, this is all hours of the night because we're not working right now because of the weather. So I don't got to get up in the morning. So, I'll be up all night probably watching some news and stuff, trying to check the latest news reports on everything that's happening. And I'm going to tell you something. I'm kind of getting to a point where I almost don't want to continue to do coverage or, to use my platform to give attention to some of these, protest riots and stuff, because some of these people are just they're everybody's saying ICE is out of control. Some of these people, some of these protesters, they're out of control. Like it's a two, it looks like it's a two-way street going on. Everybody is, they're going, they're just, they're going over the top, man. Unhinged is the best word. You got that right. Terplus, Terp 710 is Elizabeth Rutherford 912. Oh yeah, Donald Trump. Are you at Donald? Or you mean am I a Donald Trump fan? I'm not a fan. This isn't a, am I, I mean, the president is the president. People say it is not my president. Well, are you an American citizen? Because yeah, he's your president, whether you like it or not. You know, um, I like Donald Trump because he's a funny guy, but his politics or some stuff like that, like I you know I don't know that he's the best politician, but he's a businessman. So those I don't look at him from a political standpoint. I look at Donald Trump as being like a meme. He's like a meme. Either you like a meme coin or you don't, or you like if you like a meme, you like a meme. If you don't like a meme, you don't like a meme. I'm not a somebody that's gonna he's got a lot of people like you. I hear stuff. Oh, they're kissing up to him, or like Nicki Minaj went up there and up on stage and stuff, and she was, like she's one of his biggest supporters. Like, I'd rather her than me get up there and say something like that because I probably wouldn't do that. I would just, if I support him, I would be supportive of him. But it wouldn't be like I would really say I'm your biggest supporter. You know what I'm saying? I'm far from that because the minute he does, look, I want to know about the Epstein files. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like I stay pretty neutral in situations like that. Like whereas you know, I know that he's got a position of power, but most people that are in positions of power usually abuse their power. So and then a person like him, like just looking at him long before he got into politics, like you don't think he's gonna abuse his power? And I don't want to get up here and bash him, but um, he's not no different than anybody else. A lot of people put him on a pedestal. Well, he is different from a lot of people. Let me rephrase that, because he's wealthy. He's wealthy. A lot of people aren't. A lot of people in politics, they're not. And so. But my whole thing with this guy, you know, never mind Donald Trump. My whole thing with this guy, if we really take a look at the you know him, how he got himself riddled with gunfire, it's not just because he had a gun on him, but he had some other he had some other viewpoints that were not supportive of ICE. His viewpoints were okay, and a lot of people that were there, they weren't supportive of ICE. They were protesters. So he was a protester. He showed up with a gun, but he was also somebody who would spit at these police or these officers. He didn't have respect for their authority. And a lot of them, they were doing stuff that might have lost the respect of the people. When they were kind of just you know crowd control is tough. Crowd control is tough. When you got to control a crowd of people, and you look at these situations that these officers or these servicemen or whatever are in. They're being called out of their name. They're being a lot of the protesters that showed up, man, they were not protesters. They were agitators. Let's call them what they were, agitators. And an agitator ain't showing up to call you the child of God while you trying to do the work, trying to do your job. You're trying to do your job and follow, protocol, right? Um, Agitators are gonna call you out of your name, and definitely try to get you to kind of, you know, cross that line and go, kind of go after them. That's what this all looked to be, as it unfolded. And so, and then you got people that's showing up with firearms. So, you know, it didn't, what a lot of the protesters and stuff like that were doing, it wasn't helping the situation of ridding the company. I keep saying company. Well, America is a corporation. It might be USA is a big old company, right? So if I make a mistake and I call the country a company, let's just call the United States a company, right? And the government, is company employees. So, because sometimes my words do get a little bit twisted. But you know what I'm saying, right? This is a corporation, all right? This is America. America's a corporation. This is big business over here. And so, a lot of the immigration policies, our immigration policies are in place to be able to protect our laws and the laws of citizens. Anybody that's not a citizen is breaking the law, right? If you enter into the country illegally. So when you get to, when you're protesting these type of immigration reform tactics, you're protesting against what the rules are. You're protesting what the rules are. That's just how I see it. So if you're a citizen and you want to voice your opinion about the rules of the company or the country, you can make your grievance known, but you have to do it in a fashion that does not make you look like you're, trying to undermine the system or the government. And so, that's where that term domestic terrorism comes in, because those people are trying to undermine the government. If you're a domestic terrorist, you're trying to undermine the government. You're trying to use, some means of protest to kind of, like in these situations, agitate those men and women who are doing their job. But then you're saying that you're protesting peacefully, but you're agitating and trying to stir up, conflict. And then once it got out of control, people started losing their lives. So Petty, he's not the hero people thought he was, because it looked at that time when he was unalive, and few minutes leading up to the 5 or 10 minutes or however many minutes where the interaction or the altercation or the when he got in and face to face with the officers that ultimately did take his life. It almost looks like he was trying to be a hero at that point in time. But then if you go back and look at, a week or so before, when he was caught on camera peacefully protesting, or was that a violent or an aggressive, display of, what one will say is people are opinionated when they're voicing their, spitting at the cops and calling, agitating them and calling them. I don't know if that was AI either. It could have been, but I don't know. There was a couple different angles. But then he began to violently, he went to kick the vehicle and damage the vehicle that they were in and so forth. So that stuff right there doesn't really, paint the picture of the guy that everybody said was being a hero when he lost his life because he was protecting a woman or trying to, help another person, another protester who, the officers were agitated and they pushed and shoved him to the ground, or, probably was getting ready to try to, take somebody into custody. And the question was asked, like, what do you think about this guy? And then, people were like, have mixed opinions. At first I had one opinion, then I have to kind of, reverse course on it and take a listen to this.
They killed the wrong guy, right? Because this is like the perfect guy. Alex Petty is the guy you would want to date your daughter. The guy you would want your son to grow up to be.
I don't know about that, because I'm gonna tell my kids right now, if there's a protest that's going on, I got 2 boys and 2 girls. I'm gonna tell my kid right now, don't go down there messing with them people, all right? And don't go, definitely don't take no firearm down there. Like, come on, man. Like, so some people are trying to make him out to be so much of a hero, but then we look at some of the footage of not that day that he lost his life, but let's see about the days before that when he was kicking the vehicle and spitting at the cops. That's who you want to date your daughter? I don't want somebody like that dating my daughter. All right, one of my daughters are married. And let me tell you something. The young man that's married to my daughter, he's very respectful. He would never do that, right? He's enlisted in the National Guard. He's going to be going into the National Guard. And he would never do anything like that because he know that it's unacceptable. It's unacceptable. But let's finish listening to what she's got to say. Some people are just, kind of delusional. But
no. It's a no.
No.
I don't know what kind of guy Anna Navarro wants women in her family to date, but no, we do not. Sane people want our children to grow up to be anything like Alex Preddy, and we certainly don't want our sons to grow into him. We do know for certain that he is the kind of guy who would spit on a cop and smash a law enforcement vehicle while armed and beg federal officers to assault him. He wanted his little viral moment. And let me tell you something, he got a taste of the little fame, like he enjoyed it. I'm sure he was a hero amongst all of his little protester, rioter, terrorist types out there on that street corner. And he went right back out there looking for another confrontation. And it got him killed.
See what I'm saying? So yeah, I totally had to come up here, and I want to apologize to people because at first I had the stance that he was a hero, but then again after looking at it, and I apologize, but unapologetically. You know what I'm saying? Unapologetically, by all means, man, you have a right to protest, and we have a right to bear arms. But everything that he did leading up to his death, I can't agree with that, man. I can't. Not after I seen this. So let me know what you think in the comments. All right. Is this the type of person that you would want to date your daughter, or be somebody that okay, he worked at a hospital at the VA. Okay, he was a licensed carrier. He had a permit, a gun owner, licensed gun owner, and everything. That's all good. That's all good. I got my daughter is married to somebody with the same merits. You know what I'm saying? But there's a big difference. There's a very big difference in, the person that once I saw the first video and then they took it back, and then not only that, to find out that his parents begged him not to go out there. They knew a lot more about him than you and I know. They knew a lot because, like I said, a lot of discussions at the dinner table, and the parents, it sounded like they had a lot more sense than what the son had. And he might have been a hothead. He might have been a hothead with a firearm and wanted to get out there to protest and ready to, get face to face with law enforcement. He did it one day, kicked out their, tail light, and then, he went back out there. And like to my understanding, where we're hearing that his parents even told him, don't go back out there, man. Don't, because they're probably, you're gonna go out there and get yourself killed. You got that gun on you too. So, do me a favor, let me know what you think. And I do apologize if I have misled anyone to think that, I was in support of anything that he was doing. The only thing that I do support that he did was that he had a legal firearm. I don't support the fact that he took that firearm to that protest, because learning about a little bit more of this person's, motive, and like she said, he had one little minute of fame, he did whatever, and, kind of got away with it, so he came back again, and, that was only going to heighten the, these people really think that, they can go a little harder and go a little harder. The next thing you know, what you gonna do? Pull that gun out, or you right hoping that somebody else is ready to pull out, and then what are you guys planning to do here? You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not a good idea to bring a firearm to a protest, especially if you're going to go there and conduct yourself the way that he did, because the only thing that's going to happen is you're going to wind up losing your life. You're going to wind up hurting somebody or getting yourself hurt, right? If you're going to carry, be smart. Be smart. If you're carrying, be smart. Do not inject yourself into any kind of altercations. The guys that are holding those arms, and you're there, you need to be standing back and just watching everything as it happens, not getting up close and personal, and agitating nobody, and then you got a firearm on you. Like, come on, bro. Seriously? That wasn't smart at all. He got himself killed. Leave me a comment. Let me know what you think. I believe in following the rules, and I believe that there's things got to be done decent and in order. I believe that there's a right and a wrong way to do things. All right. The minute you try to be a vigilante or a lone wolf or do something like that, you're out of pocket. You're out of pocket, and you're going to wind up getting yourself, ultimately, you're going to get dealt with. And on the other side, law enforcement, you know how they're going to deal with you. They're going to deal with you, Ain't gonna be no discussion like we gotta keep talking about. Nah. Once you get out of line, they're gonna deal with you right there. They're gonna handle you. You're an imminent threat. Let's let these guys that are Homeland Security do their jobs, man. Let's cheer them on as they do their job. As long as they're doing it the right way, you can cheer them on. Like, there's nothing wrong with everybody being out there in support of them. Yeah, clean up the country. We here to support y'all. How about you do that rather than go and protest them cleaning up the country? You don't want the country cleaned up? Do you know what we have? Do you know the kind of criminals that are in the country? Do you know the kind of daggone crimes that they have committed? A lot of these people, and not just the fact that the economy is already in the toilet because people not paying taxes and sending it back to I guess I don't need to go into all of that because I wanted to really talk about him and what he did to get himself killed unalive. So do me a favor, leave me a like, hit the like button, leave a comment, right? Let me know what you think. I need to know what you guys think. Don't just compliment my hat. Don't just tell me you like my dreadlocks, or don't let me know what you think about this topic. All right, leave it in the comments. If you watch this after the live stream is over, please comment. I will reply to the comment, because if we don't have the dialogue or the discussion, how are we ever going to come to a resolve? People got to figure out who they going to vote for, what they're going to vote for. Oh, I'm not going to vote. Why? Well, my battery's about to end it. But since you up here, we'll stay up here just a little bit longer. If you hit that like button, I might just cut it off, So let me know what you think, right? Yeah, I don't have a charge right now, Elizabeth, so fortunately. It may just cut off on us. I do appreciate that. I do. And God bless you too. Hit that like button. Oh, you already did. I'm sorry. You already did. Right? Let me know what you think in the comments. I appreciate you for joining me. I'm your boy Swizzy. Subscribe to the channel, share this video, leave a comment, and hit that notification bell. And I'm telling you, I'm kind of getting a little burned out, fatigued from covering this type of stuff because I mean, it does affect all of us, and so that's my reason for wanting to have this discussion. I need to know what everybody thinks, man. I don't want to be in a world where I'm not informed. I do. I live. It says Connecticut. It says Connecticut. Born and raised. Yes, ma'am. Where'd you say you were from again? Or did you ever say it? You never said where you were from. But I'm a little fatigued again, like I said, about a lot of this stuff. And unfortunately, this is more or less what catches my attention. Of course, I'm really into the the markets and stuff like that too. How you doing? Yeah, Florida's nice. My mother used to live down in, she had a house down in Fernandina Beach. Yep. Before she passed away. So, I really, I really would just encourage you guys to kind of like, let me know what you think, and that's Cage Queen. CIA queer. I can't really. I appreciate you guys for joining. I appreciate you for the likes. Yeah, my mom's been going for about 4 years now, but she's resting in peace. But I'm gonna let you go. I'm gonna let you guys go. It's getting late, and thank you for coming in and sharing this time with me. If you watch this afterwards, you feel like you want to leave a comment or ask me any questions. I mean, I do go into the comments and I reply. So y'all have a great one, man. You have a good evening. Peace out. Protest peacefully if you plan to protest, and leave. I'm not saying leave your firearm. Do not end. Well, the battery's about to die, man. I'm sorry. I hate to have to be the bearer of bad news, but I didn't plug it up, and I need to do that. So just come on back. I'll be here. All right. But it was good talking to you, and you have a great night, the rest of your night, and enjoy that weather down there in Florida. I'm gone.